From 1927 to 1968, the Arkansas Negro Boys Industrial School was a juvenile correctional facility for black male youth in Arkansas. A fire broke out in 1959 at the children's dormitory and killed 21 victims. I'll tell you about it coming up. This is KRT, Critical Race Theory. It's not the one they teach in law schools, but the one banned in public schools. This is a story that probably won't get many views, but it is a message that won't be heard otherwise. The school was a reform school for boys who had been convicted of various crimes. As of March 1959, the Wrightsville school had 69 boys aged between 13 and 17. According to L.R. Gaines, the superintendent of the school, most of the boys in the dormitory were in for minor offenses such as hubcap stealing or because their parents had split and there was no place for them to go. In 1936, there were two locations, one in Jefferson County and one in Wrightsville, 10 miles southeast of Little Rock. The boys' school was segregated, with African American boys sent there instead of the state's all-white reform school. When the fire broke out in the dormitory of the school, 21 black boys died. It was a tragic event that would forever leave a mark on the history of Arkansas. The dormitory where the fire broke out was a two-story wooden building that housed around 48 boys. The boys were locked in their dormitories at night, and the windows were barred. When the fire broke out in the early hours of the morning, many of the boys were trapped and could not escape. The building where the boys lived was described as rickety. Now, the governor of Arkansas, Orville Faubus, he's the guy that ordered the Arkansas National Guard to prevent African American students from enrolling at Central High School in Little Rock. Well, he visited the school in January 1958, saying they really need help. They are using some old wood stoves which should be replaced. Then Faubus reduced the school's budget by $7,100. In 1955, a grad student by the name of Gordon B. Morgan wrote a report saying, quote, "Many boys go for days with only rags for clothes. More than half of them wear neither socks nor underwear during the winter." The cause of the fire is still unknown to this day. Some believe that it was caused by faulty electrical wiring, while others speculate that it was a deliberate act of arson. But what is known is that the fire spread quickly and engulfed the entire building within minutes. The response to the fire was chaotic and disorganized. The school had no fire department of its own, and it took almost an hour for the local fire department to arrive. By that time, the building was completely engulfed in flames, and many of the boys had already perished. Get this, police never investigated to determine who or what may have caused the fire. The doors into the dormitory had been locked and the windows covered with heavy gauge wire mesh, making escape nearly impossible. But at the white school, there was no protocol of locking their doors. 16-year-old Night Sergeant O.F. Charlie Meadows, who helped break open one window, helped 48 boys to escape while 21 burned to death. In the aftermath of the fire, the families of the deceased said that authorities told them that 14 of the dead boys were wrapped in newspapers and deposited in an unmarked grave. The gravesite is located at Haven of Rest Cemetery in Little Rock. There was nothing to denote that the boys were buried there until 2018 when a plaque was donated to the site. Who donated the plaque? I don't know. The segregationist governor of Arkansas, Orville Faubus, asked a committee to investigate the fire. The committee concluded that the correctional facility, the state of Arkansas, and the local community held responsibility for the incident, but recommended no course of action. A Pulaski County grand jury returned no indictments, but here's what they said. The blame can be placed on lots of shoulders for the tragedy. The board of directors, to a certain extent, who might have pointed out through newspaper and other publicity the extreme hazards and plight of the school. The superintendent and his staff, who perhaps continued to do the best they could in a resigned fashion when they had nothing to do with it. The state administration, one right after another through the past years, who allowed conditions to become so disreputable. The General Assembly of the state of Arkansas, who should have been so ashamed of conditions that they would have previously allowed sufficient money to have these conditions corrected. And finally, on the people of Arkansas who did nothing about it. The brother of one of the boys, Frank Lawrence, attempted to make a documentary and brought the fire more widespread attention in the early 21st century. Finally, the land once occupied by the unit now houses the Arkansas Department of Corrections Wrightsville unit. For 60 years, there was no marker or memorial that indicated that the boys' school existed or that the fire occurred. Then on April 25th, 2019, a monument to the dead was unveiled at the Wrightsville unit of the Arkansas Department of Correction. This has been Critical Race Theory. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe and share this video with your friends and family. I'll see you next time.